Okay, good morning to one and all. Last time what we have seen is the stress and load. Related to the load, what we have seen, the types of load, fluctuating load, and how it is going to affect, and what type of loading is there in case of fluctuating load. As we are knowing that this fluctuating load is going to create the stress, because on any component, if you are going to apply load, it is going to create stress. So definitely the load which you are going to apply, that type of stress will be get generated in that component. Suppose we are going to apply load on this cantilever type of beam at one end, and that is of fluctuating type. So any one type of that fluctuating load, if you are going to apply, then the stresses will be generated in this cantilever beam. So that we are going to see which type of loading will be created, which type of stresses. So as we know that we are going to have, okay, we know that fluctuating type of load is applied, then repetitive type of load, alternating type of load, and completely reverse type of load. That type of loading we have seen under the fluctuating type of loading. So this fluctuating type of loading is going to create fluctuating stresses, and these fluctuating stresses are nothing but of fluctuating type. Okay, this loading is going to create the stress. The stresses which vary from the minimum value to the maximum value of the same nature, that is tensile or compressive, are called as fluctuating type of stresses. Then second is the stresses which vary from the zero of certain value to the maximum value on the same nature, that you are going to call as a repetitive type of stresses. Then alternating type of stresses, the stresses which vary from minimum value to the maximum value of the opposite nature. Okay, it doesn't mean that whatever may be the minimum value which we have achieved, same value we are going to achieve as a maximum in the opposite nature. Okay, but some sort of minimum and maximum value we are going to get in opposite type of nature, that is from certain minimum value of compressive stresses to the certain minimum value of tensile stresses. Okay, or from tensile to compressive, that are called as alternating type of stresses. Completely reversed. Okay, that is nothing but whatever may be the maximum value which you are going to get for the tensile stress, same value we are going to get for the compressive type of stresses. That is called as completely reversed or cyclic type of stresses. Okay, graphically, if you want to see all these type of stresses, then we'll see first and all type of stresses. These four type of stresses. Let me clear first. Okay, so here you can see this fluctuating type of stresses. Now here on the graph, what we are going to mention is the time, okay, on x-axis, and stress on the y-axis. Here you can see that the stress which we are going to get is zero value at this x-axis, okay, and it is going to have certain value here, right? So that is called as minimum stress, because this value of sigma, that is the stress, is the minimum in case of our application. Okay. So below this value, the stress is not decreased or reduced. Okay. Suppose we start to apply the load in such a way that the stress will get generated and it will reach to its maximum value. This value is called as sigma max. This is the maximum value of stress which is generated in that component on which you are going to apply the load. Okay, above which in the lifetime of that particular loading condition, the stress will not get generated. Okay. So in this case, you are going to apply the load in such a way that the stress is gradually increasing, okay, uh, with respect to time and reaching its maximum value. Then it is going to get reduced, okay, but it is of same nature. If it is tensile, then it is tensile type of stress only. If it is compressive, then compressive type of stresses. But in that case, the stress is not constant. It is varying with respect to time, okay, between its minimum value and maximum value. So when we are going to measure the stress, we are going to measure it from zero. That is nothing but here, if it is 10 megapascal, then this 10 megapascal is measured from zero. Okay. And if it is 2 megapascal, okay, then it is at its minimum value. Getting? So we are going to measure the stress from the zero. So this sigma minimum and sigma maximum. If it is varying with this sinusoidal curve, then we also can calculate sigma mean. Getting me? What will be the sigma mean? The mean stresses can be calculated as sigma m. We are going to write it as maximum stress plus minimum stress divided by 2. That will be the sigma mean. Okay. And what will be the average stress which will get generated? That is sigma A. We are going to call it as a stress amplitude. We are going to, not average, stress amplitude. This amplitude which we are going to measure from the mean stress. Here also in this direction, this will be measured as amplitude. Okay. So this amplitude of stress is maximum stress minus minimum stress divided by 2. This we can calculate as a maximum stress. And sigma R, that is range of stress, that we can calculate directly as a sigma max minus sigma minimum. That will be the range in which the stress will get generated. Is it clear? Any doubt? If you have any doubt, you are free to write in chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask question. If you don't have any question, then if you understand it, let me know. Have you got it? Hello? Yes, Rakesh is telling yes, he has got everything. Anybody has doubt about these fluctuating stresses? We are categorizing the stress. They are repetitive type or alternative type. They are varying with respect to time. Then this repeated stresses we are going to calculate as the stress value is going to become zero somewhere. Let us consider that it is starting from the zero. Okay. Then it is reaching to its maximum value. Here it will be sigma max. Its maximum value. What will be the sigma minimum in this case? Repetitive type. Sigma minimum will be zero always. Okay. But it is in same nature. That is nothing but if it is compressive, then it is compressive type of stresses, increasing to the certain value, then again decreasing to the zero, then again increasing to its maximum value, okay, with respect to time. So if it is in compressive nature, it will be compressive, and if it is tensile nature, then it is tensile only. But it is going to vary from its zero value to the maximum certain value. Okay. In this case also we can calculate sigma mean. Here sigma mean will be sigma max minus sigma minimum, where sigma minimum will always zero. So it will be sigma max by 2. That will be sigma mean. Okay. And amplitude of stress that we can calculate always as a sigma max minus sigma minimum, where the sigma minimum value will be 0. Same formula which we have seen in previous case. Okay, it will be always sigma max by 2. That will be the amplitude of stress, and range of stress that can be calculated as definitely the maximum stress. That will be the same as a range of the stress in which it is going to vary. This is called as repetitive type of stress. Okay, it is going to become 0, and same way it is going to be applied again and again and again. Got it? Any question? Any question regarding this repetitive type of stress? Hope all of you are understanding and getting me. Mayur Sharke, may I know you are getting it or not? Mayur Sharke, roll number 57. Can you unmute yourself? Are you listening me, Mayur?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Do you get it? Any question?
Yes, sir. Get it.
You get it. Okay, okay. Do you have any question? Mayur?
No, sir.
Okay, no problem.
No,
If
sir.
any,
No question.
yeah, okay, okay. Thank you. If you have any doubt, you are free to ask. If not, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, now you can see here the reversed stresses. Okay, in this case, let me tell you one thing. Though you are going to observe this graph as a maximum stress which you are going to get to the opposite side of 0, okay, and minimum stress which you are going to get to the lower side of 0 value. Definitely, one you are going to call as a tensile, one you are going to call as a compressive. We don't have such type of stresses that is minus or plus. This is tensile side and this is compressive side. Okay, somewhere we are going to say that the stress is nil, that is nothing but stress value is 0. Okay, so compressive we are going to say as a negative and tensile we are going to say as a positive. So what is going to happen in this case, that the stresses are generated to the tensile side first, and later on it is going to become 0 and they are increased in compressive nature. Okay, so in this case, they are called as repetitive type of stresses, or reverse type of stresses. Okay, they are going to reverse their self. So tensile is going to become compressive here, but it is not the hard and fast that the same value of tensile is achieved in compressive side. Okay, maybe suppose we are going to have tensile type of stresses as a 100 Newton per millimeter square. Then in compressive side, it may be 150 Newton per millimeter square. It is not the case that 100 tensile as we have achieved, we should achieve 100 compressive only. It may vary. Okay, this range of 100 Newton per millimeter square is tensile and 150 Newton per millimeter square as a compressive. Okay, that is tensile is not same as a compressive, or compressive may not be same as a tensile. This is called as, but reversed. That is nothing but tensile is going to become compressive. Okay, same formula we are going to use for calculating mean stress, that is the maximum stress plus minimum stress divided by 2. In this case, whatever may be the sign which we are going to use for the compressive type of stresses, that we have to apply here mathematically. Okay, yes, any question? Kunal, roll number 60, Kunal Shetty. Yes, do you have any question, Kunal? If not, don't unmute yourself, okay? Unnecessarily. If you have any doubt, you are free to unmute yourself and you can ask that question. Okay, in this case, what we are going to calculate is the mean stress, and this mean stress we are going to calculate as a maximum. Definitely, we are going to say maximum stress as a positive side, minimum stress as a negative side, mathematically, okay? But significance doesn't mean that the positive stresses are the stresses which are generated in the positive side, and compressive stresses which are generated, they are stresses only, going to get the same effect, getting, and are calculated as force divided by area only. Here also force divided by area, but we are going to assume that compressive stresses are negative and tensile stresses are positive. Okay, just for the sake of understanding, we are going to give the sign for that for mathematical calculations. Okay, so in this case, we are going to calculate this mean stress as a maximum stress plus minimum stress divided by 2, and average stress we are going to calculate as a maximum minus minimum divided by 2. Here also we have to use same sign which we are going to assume for the compressive type of stresses. Okay, and range of stress that we are going to calculate maximum minus minimum. Okay, that will be the range of the stress. So if it is 10 and if it is 5, it will become range as a 15, because this 10 plus 15 we are going to get. Okay, so range of stress is going to become 15. Mathematically, how you are going to calculate it. Okay, also we are going to calculate this amplitude. This is called as amplitude of stress. Okay, any doubt? Can we move further? Okay, Kunal. Okay, then we are going to see, will you explain amplitude of stress? Yes, just a minute. Let me take previous slide. Here, this is the amplitude of stress. This you are going to call as amplitude of the stress. As they are repetitive from tensile to compressive, you are going to call it as a amplitude of stress. Okay, and this amplitude we are going to measure from the, okay, here the formula which we have to use is the sigma max divided by 2. This maximum stress is measured from the 0. Okay, in this case, okay, this formula cannot be used directly. You can say as a maximum stress divided by 2, and mathematically it will give us a wrong result, because if suppose 10 megapascal is the positive side and 10 megapascal as a negative side, okay, 10 minus minus plus, it will become 20. 20 divided by 2, it is going to become again 10. Am I right? So this will become range of the stress, where we are going to use sigma mean or sigma minimum as a minus 10. So yes, this 10 minus minus plus plus 10, 20 divided by 2 is 10. We are going to get the same amplitude. So Gaurav, have you got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can we move further? This is reversed, and completely alternating stresses are nothing but the same way, but they are having same value as tensile and compressive. That is, right now I have taken example 10 Newton per meter square and in tensile nature, and same 10 Newton per meter square in compressive nature. That is called as completely reversed stresses. Okay, same value we are going to achieve for the tensile as well as compressive, that you are going to call as a completely reversed stresses. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in this case, what we are going to see is the type of loading which is coming under the case of repetitive or fluctuating type of loading. Also, we have seen that load is going to create the stress, and that stress also we have seen in their different type. Now, what these stresses are going to create? So they are going to create the fatigue failure. So what do you mean by fatigue failure? Failure which is occurring below its tensile value or tensile limit, or below its compressive limit. Now onwards, tensile and compressive, as we have seen in the theories of failure, that we are going to use the same value for the tensile and compressive. Though you are going to apply the compressive stresses or compressive load in any specimen, and it is having naturally every component or every material is having tendency that they can sustain more compressive stress than the tensile stress. Okay, but in case of our machine design, what we are going to assume is that same amount of compressive stress is sustained by any specimen as they are going to sustain it in tensile nature. Okay, I'll repeat it once again. नॅचरली प्रत्येक मटेरियलची ही एक प्रॉपर्टी आहे की थोडे बहुत म्हणजे अगदी काही मटेरियल असतात की ते खूप कॉम्प्रेसिव्ह स्ट्रेस सस्टेन करतात रॅदर दॅन टेन्साइल स्ट्रेस. लाईक वी कॅन टेक एक्झाम्पल ऑफ सिमेंट. फॉर सिमेंट they do have more strength in compressive nature, but they have very less strength in tensile nature. But every material has a property that they can sustain little bit more amount of compressive stress than tensile stress. Getting me? But in our MD subject or MD course, what we are going to assume that same amount of tensile stress is sustained by that material in compressive stress also. Okay, suppose we are going to test one specimen and we get this type of nature. Okay, for the stress strain curve. In this case, we can easily come to know that it is ductile type of material. Okay, it has a yield point and it has a ultimate point, right? This is you are going to call as a sigma y, and this you are going to call as a sigma u, ultimate. Okay, where that material is going to get break. And we always calculate some sort of stress value here, and that you are going to call as a sigma y. And by dividing it by the factor of safety, we are going to say that this much amount of stress can be considered for the design, right? But in case of this repetitive type of stresses or this fluctuating type of stresses, though we are going to have this sigma, which we can use for the design, certain value, but below that, the failure is going to occur because you are going to apply fluctuating type of loading. Okay, that's why it is called as fatigue failure. So fatigue is generated in that component, in that material, and due to that, failure occurs. Previously, in previous lecture, we have taken example of breaking a wire. When we are going to break the wire, at that time, if you are going to apply repetitive type of loading, then it is going to fail well below than its tensile limit, right? So that type of failure is called as fatigue failure, and which is very dangerous. Because when we are going to apply this fluctuating type of loading, it is going to fail below its tensile limit. So one cannot predict it. That type of failure is called as fatigue failure. Okay. Any doubt? Any doubt? So how that fatigue failure is going to occur? So in this case, you can see that all these two slides are dedicated to the fatigue type of failure, which I explained. Now this fatigue failure is going to occur in any material by means of a single crack. If the crack, one type of crack is generated in that component, then that crack leads to the failure. Or suppose in the manufacturing process, if there are certain blowholes which are created, from that blowholes that you are going to say as a concentrated stress area, and the failure start from that, and it occurs suddenly. In case of a gradually applied load or that is static type of loading, the failure is going to occur by means of creating a neck, and later on it is going in plastic stage, and then afterwards failure is going to occur. In that case also, that failure is going to give us intimation. But in case of fatigue loading, without giving any intimation, failure is going to occur suddenly. And sudden failure, more losses. Getting me? Because in case of static loading, if suppose that material or our component is entering in the plastic stage, first is the elastic stage. From elastic stage, if it is going to the plastic stage, then we can say that failure is going to start, and we can replace that particular component, right? But in case of this fatigue loading, though you are going to see that component is not entering in the plastic region or stage, suddenly failure is going to occur. Suddenly that part is going to break. And that is more dangerous in case of brittle materials. Okay. And that may seen in the ductile material also. Okay. So this brittle material and ductile materials, both are encountered by means of this fatigue type of failure. Okay. There may be a question that how we are going to get the failure, fatigue type of failure in brittle and ductile material. Okay. At that time, you have to understand that in case of ductile material also, without having any plastic mode, plastic stage, material is going to break suddenly, and that is happening because of the repetitive type or fluctuating type of stresses. Okay. Here, this is the example which already I explained, that if you are going want to break any wire, metal wire, then if you are applying repetitive type of stresses, it is going to fail, or it is going to break in two pieces well below than its tensile limit when you are going to apply gradual load, okay, for the shearing of that wire. These are some examples of fatigue type of failure. Here you can see that this failure is occurred in case of this crank. And in case of this crank, you can see here, we are going to see regions where the crack has initiated. In this case, here you can see that this is the region where the crack has initiated, or this crack has formed. And later on, this crack suddenly goes on increasing. That is nothing but the propagation zone, it is called as. Okay. Suddenly it gets increases. And this region where I'm going to mark hatching lines, this is fracture zone. While this crack has propagated up to this point, I will use different color. Okay, this one is it visible? Yeah. So while this crack is propagated up to this region, it has started, suppose in this region, and it has propagated in this green region, okay, and started in this red region. Suppose here is the starting point of this crack, and it gets propagated up to this point, okay, and up to this point this crank is in working condition, but suddenly, as these hatching lines I have shown here, in 1 second or in fraction of second, that gets break, okay. Up to this point it was sustaining that stresses, it was giving its service, okay, but it gets failed suddenly in this fracture zone. So this type of failure is going to occur in case of fatigue failure, and it occurs suddenly. It doesn't mean that crack has generated today and this propagation is going to take 1 more month of working, and this crack has propagated up to that point, and later on in a fraction of second it is going to get break. But in some duration, very short time, it is not going to take month or years for propagation. It is going to take some minutes or some seconds for propagation and for the failure. As soon as the crack is generated, okay, this fatigue type of failure is going to occur in fraction of second, in very less time, okay. That is again depend how you are going to or where that component is you are going to use, okay, and what is the intensity, minimum stress, maximum stress, average stress, or that amplitude of stress you are going to apply on that component, okay. These are correlated with each other. So this propagation is going to take place within the fraction of second, and failure is also going to occur within the fraction of second. Do you understand this case study? Hello? May I know from you whether you have got it or not? Anybody of you, you can unmute yourself. Yes, Shubham is saying yes. Anybody else? Balaji, yes. They understood it. Okay. This is one example which we have seen for the fatigue failure. We'll see this second example. Okay. This hammer component, okay, shows no yielding before failure. Here also you can see that crack has generated at certain corner where the stress concentration is more, and it has get propagated. Clearly you can see how the propagation is taking place, and sudden failure, that is fracture, where the fracture is occurred, that area also you can see clearly here, and this fracture is going to occur here. This process takes place within short time. Are you getting me? And this is case of one component of hammer which may be used in forging industries, or you can take simple example of any hammer which has get break in this nature, which has get fail in this nature. Let me ask one question here. Anybody of you can answer it. In case of hammering, which type of stresses are generated? Whether it is fluctuating or repetitive or completely reversed? Somebody has given answer. Impact, yeah, impact type of loading is occurring, but which type of, we can, whether it is going to become zero and later on it is going to increase in reverse condition, or it is limiting up to zero. Any hammering you can say. Repetitive, okay, repetitive, yes. Can you explain it? Repetitive means what? Whether it is going to become in opposite nature, or it will be in same nature and is going to become zero somewhere. Yes, repetitive. Yes, they are in repetitive nature. What do you mean by repetitive nature? Or
Sir,
repetitive?
it
Yes,
becomes zero and maximum.
it becomes 0 and maximum, right? In case of any type of hammering, it is going to become 0 and it is going to increase to its maximum value in tensile or compressive nature. Okay, mostly it is in compressive nature, not in tensile nature, right? Because you are going to hammer, and in case of hammering, the compressive type of stresses will get generated in that hammer also, and the workpiece on which you are going to hammer, right? Okay. Everybody have got it? Can we move further? Let me know from your side. Can we go further? Yes, okay. Here is another example of failure. Okay. Actually, start has taken place at one end. It is getting propagated and end is going to occur. That is nothing but this fracture is going to occur at certain regions, so very small region. This very small region is going to break suddenly because it is this area is not capable to withstand to the stresses which are generated. And this particular image has elaborated here. Okay, it is near about 12 micron, and again it has been elaborated to the next 2 microns. Okay, so how the propagation is taking place, that area is shown here. So you can see here in the propagation also, sudden, that is this area where, this is the area where actually it is fracture. Okay, whatever may be this region we are going to call as a fracture. This area where we have written end, where the sudden failure is going to occur. This area. In case of this propagation also, these type of areas are generated. You can see here. These areas are generated. Okay. Later on, this much part is going to take some while, some time. And again, the sudden failure is going to occur in this region. Okay. And like this, it is propagating. This crack is going to get propagated. Right. So first, we should understand what is this fatigue and how it is going to occur. So what I use a repetitive word, or repetitively I use one word, and that is stress concentration. And we should understand what do you mean by this stress concentration. Okay. And it is important to know about the stress concentration. So what we are going to see next is the stress concentration. Yes. Okay. So here the slide which you can see is related to the stress concentration. Now we can take example of streamlines of water flow. Have you studied it? That is while calculating Reynolds number. Have you studied? Do you have experimentation on such type of streamlines in FM, fluid mechanics? Okay, are you knowing about the Newtonian and non-Newtonian fluids? Reynolds number? Because we are going to, okay, yes. In case of non-Newtonian fluids, what happens? That they are not having streamlines. The flow is of turbulence nature. Am I right? And in Newtonian fluids, it is of can anybody help me? Turbulence and second type, what you are going to call it as? Yes. It is occurring in layers. Am I right? So we are going to simulate because we cannot see stress with our eyes. Am I right? Or somebody is able to see stress. There are some other techniques. It is called as experimental stress analysis, ESA, in which we can see some fringes in certain type of material, and we can just simulate that fringes with the actual stresses. Even we have some softwares like ANSYS, okay, Nastran, they can simulate it. They can show you the figure, but it is not the actual one. Actually, no one can see the stress. Am I right? You can see the changes in dimension, but we cannot say the stress we can see. We can measure the strain with the dimensions which has been changed. Am I right? But stress cannot be seen. But it can be just simulated. So here you can see these lines which are drawn here are the lines of stresses. Okay. And these stresses are somewhat what we can say in organized manner at this region. Let me take a pointer. In this region, you can say that they are in organized manner. Okay, they are parallel to each other. Getting me? But suppose in this plate, one plate we have taken, in this plate we drill one hole. What will happen? And we apply force to create the tension in this plate. So these lines which we have shown here are the lines of stresses, tensile stresses. Okay. Near to the hole here you can see that lines have came together. Okay, to overcome this hole. So when these lines are coming together, we can say like these fluids, okay, if you are going to put any obstacle in between, they are coming together, and here this region is generated where the pressure will get increased and velocity pressure will get decreased and velocity get increases. Okay, so in this case also it is happening in similar manner, and the stress is going to concentrate here. The stress is going to increase here. Mathematically also you can see how much area is available for sustaining this stress to the opposite side of this hole, that much area. But this in this region, this pink region, whole area of plate is available for sustaining that stress. Here the area is going to get decreased. So remaining area of this plate is going to sustain same amount of stress as this pink area is going to sustain. Am I right? And hence the stress will be more here. Same amount of load is applied, but area is less. That's why stress will be more here. And in this pink region, beside this hole, the stress will get reduced because area is more here. Getting me? So we are going to call it as a stress has concentrated at this region. And that is called as stress concentration. I'll repeat it once again. आपण ज्या ह्या लाईन काढलेल्या आहेत त्या लाईन इंडिकेट करतायत की स्ट्रेस कसा जनरेट झालाय. सपोज आपण एक प्लेट घेतली, त्या प्लेटला मध्ये एक होल ड्रिल केलं. ओके, डेफिनेटली ज्यावेळेला आपण होल ड्रिल करतो त्यावेळेला राहिलेला एरिया काय करतो की थोडस येस Now it is possible. ज्यावेळेला होल ड्रिल करतो आपण इथं त्यावेळेला काय होतं की फक्त हा एरिया राहतो आपल्याला, राईट, विच कॅन सस्टेन द एक्सटर्नल लोड. हा जो लोड आपण अप्लाय केलाय दॅट वी कॅन सस्टेन. आता आपण एक काय करू, जिथं होल ड्रिल केलेलं नाही तिथला एरिया घेऊ. ओके, हा जो एरिया आहे दिस इज नथिंग बट द थिकनेस. ओके, आणि ही आहे ती लेंथ आहे, thickness and this length or width of this plate. Okay, length we are going to call in this way. या डायरेक्शन मध्ये आपण लेंथ म्हणतो. ओके, ही width म्हणू आपण आणि t as a thickness. So when you are going to calculate stress here, how you can calculate? Stress is equal to force divided by area. Area कुठला calculate करू आपण? Suppose this value is b. Okay, b multiplied by t. आपण इथं area घेऊ, right? डेफिनेटली इथं काहीतरी स्ट्रेसची व्हॅल्यू येईल. सपोज इथं आली 10 न्यूटन पर मिलीमीटर स्क्वेअर. राईट, आता इथं मी हे जे होल आहे, ओके, ते होल ड्रिल केलं 2 mm चं, 2 mm डायमीटरचं, आणि टोटल विड्थ त्याची आहे 10 मिलीमीटर. ओके, आता मला सांगा की व्हेन वी आर गोइंग टू कॅल्क्युलेट स्ट्रेस हिअर, विड्थ बी घ्यायची का b minus 2 घ्यायची? Anybody of you can unmute yourself. While we are going to calculate the stress, we will take this, I'll say it as a b1, and to the other side also it will be b1, because we are going to drill that hole at the mid. So how you can calculate area here? Yes, anybody of you? Very simple question. How we can calculate the area? Later on we can calculate stress. Stress is equal to force divided. Force तर तोच राहणार आहे. Area कसा calculate करणार इथला? हा एक रेक्टँगल वरचा प्लस हा खालचा रेक्टँगल आपण होल मध्ये घेऊ शकतो का तो? Let me know. Yes, you can contribute something. Once you understand this thing, rest of things are very easy. Huh? Yes, somebody has written something. No, Balaji is saying we cannot take this hole for the calculation. We have to take this rectangle 1 and this rectangle 2. Am I right? I'll delete everything. This rectangle we have to take and this rectangle we have to take. This is the thickness of this plate and this B1. So what we have to do? T into B1 and here also T into B1. Okay. But this B1 will become how much? जर हे 10 असेल आणि डायमीटर ऑफ होल जर 2 असेल तर B1 किती येईल? 10 minus 2 divided by 2. बरोबर आहे? Is it right? Let me know. Yes, you can write in chat box. Yes, right. So it will be 4. आपण एरिया कसा कॅल्क्युलेट करू? 4 multiplied by T. Suppose thickness of that plate is 3 millimeter. Okay. हा एका साइडचा आपण एरिया कॅल्क्युलेट केला multiplied by 2. Right? So we are going to calculate, or we are going to take area which is after subtracting this diameter. Okay. म्हणजे काय झालं की आपल्याला कमी इथल्या एरियापेक्षा हा जो एरिया आहे त्या एरियापेक्षा इथं कमी एरिया आहे जो की एफ एवढाच फोर्स सस्टेन करतोय. डेफिनेटली स्ट्रेस विच विल गेट इन जनरेटेड. एरिया जर लहान झाला स्ट्रेस इन्क्रीज होईल, राईट. इथं एरिया जास्त आहे, स्ट्रेस कमी असेल. इथं जर 10 न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वेअर असेल तर इथं तो 7 किंवा 6 न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वेअर होईल. एम आय राईट? सॉरी, इट विल गेट इन्क्रीज. इथं तो 16 किंवा 15 होईल. सो this value, increased value of stress is sustained by this small area. Hence, we can say the stress is going to concentrate here. This stress is going to concentrate here. And ते सिम्युलेट केले फक्त ह्या लेअरच्या माध्यमातून. ह्या ज्या रेषा ड्रॉ केलेल्या आहेत असं अज्युम केले की ह्या स्ट्रेचच्या रेषा आहेत, स्ट्रेचच्या लाईन आहेत आणि ह्या स्ट्रेचच्या लाईन ज्या आहेत त्या इथं कॉन्सन्ट्रेट होत आहेत. हे फक्त सिम्युलेशन आहे, जगात कुणीही स्ट्रेस बघू शकत नाही. Okay, that material is going to what we can say suffer from the stress. Even person is also going to suffer from the stress, and that person only can feel that stress. Okay, but we cannot see the stress. When the exam comes near, we are suffering from the stress. Okay, because we have to do more study you can say, because we don't have any habit of regular study. So as the exams are coming near, we are concentrating on the study and hence the stress will get increased, right? So we cannot see the stress, but we can just experience that stress, right? Likewise, that material also is experiencing that stress, but we cannot see that. But it has just simulated with these lines. And this type of concentration of stresses are leading to the fatigue failure. इथं समजा स्ट्रेस जर जास्त झाला, कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन स्ट्रेसचं वाढलं तर क्रॅक फॉर्म होण्याची शक्यता कुठं असणार आहे? या एरियामध्ये का या एरियामध्ये? Yes, where the possibility is there to generate the crack in case of repetitive or fluctuating type of loading. कुठं क्रॅक जनरेट होईल लवकर? Hello? Yes, you can write in chat box where the crack will get generated easily. Should I ask Rakesh where the crack will generate?
So at the minimum
area.
area.
It is near to the hole, right?
Yes, sir.
Where the stress is concentrated more. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this chances of failure is near to the stress concentration. And this is a concept of stress concentration. It doesn't mean that stress concentration is occurring only when you are going to create any hole in the plate or in any component. It may be occur while you are going to reduce the area. If you are going to make the step, okay, suppose we are going to have such type of component in which step is created. I think you might have seen such type of jobs. Am I right? Here also stress will get concentrated. Or suppose you are going to create one keyway on shaft. Near to the keyway where the area is going to get reduced, the stress will get concentrated. Am I right? Then if suppose you are going to create some notch in any component, stress will get concentrated, right? When we are going to create threads on any component, stress will get concentrated, right? Where the area is going to have irregularity, at that point, stress will get concentrated. Am I right? Okay. We'll stop here today. If you have any question, you are free to ask. And I request all of you to put, okay, 2 numbers, 3 numbers has increased. Okay, no problem. I have written roll number of all students, no problem. So you can write your roll numbers in chat box.